Today's lesson is introvert or extrovert. Which one are you? Hello, everyone. I'm Sam.
And I'm Roger.
And we are in day 2 of our introvert or extrovert, which one are you article. So we kind of already explained and looked at what exactly is an introvert, how do they gain their energy, how do they handle challenges in the workplace, and I think today we're probably going to get into the extrovert side of things.
We certainly are. So yes, again, as you said last time, we described introverts. And, of course, there are advantages and disadvantages to being an introvert. And today we're going to focus especially on extroverts, or being extroverted, being outgoing. So let's find out what this kind of personality type is all about. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson right now.
Extroverts are individuals who generally gain energy from being around others and engaging in social activities. For example, they typically enjoy meeting new people, attending social events, and participating in group discussions. Because they feel comfortable in social settings, extroverts tend to be expressive and talkative, often sharing their thoughts and ideas without hesitation.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 hesitation， 指犹豫、迟疑、踌躇。例如Alice accepted the job offer with some hesitation. Alice 迟疑地接下了那份工作。或者 I can tell by your hesitation that you are a little scared of riding horses. 从你的迟疑，我可以看出你对骑马有点害怕。
So again, we're talking about extroverts, and they are individuals or people who generally gain energy from being around others and engaging in social activities. So yes, they like to be surrounded by lots of other people, and they enjoy social activities, gatherings, parties, outings, and things like that. They like those sorts of things, whereas introverts prefer being alone.
Yes, and it says, for example, they typically enjoy meeting new people, attending social events, and participating in group discussions. So again, this is not just like, oh, I'm social and I like to be, and like, yes, it's part of that, but it really is. That's how they feel energized. Now they feel like they can kind of start their day and they've got the energy to continue on. And for extroverts, if they spend too much time alone, they will start to feel kind of drained, just as our introverts were feeling drained from talking to people. So it's not just a personality type. It really does have to do with where your energy is kind of coming from.
Right. Now, living in Taipei, of course, I've seen both types of people. It seems that a lot of people like to get together with lots of their classmates or coworkers and go out and have fun together, maybe 10 or 15 people. But on the other hand, sometimes you just see 1 or 2 people together enjoying their time as well. So, of course, there are both introverts and extroverts in good old Taiwan. But again, we're focusing specifically on extroverts. They like being around other people and being social. They're not antisocial. They love parties. They love conversing, etc. Now, for example, they typically or usually enjoy meeting new people, attending social events, and participating in group discussions. So they like to meet new people and exchange information. Oh, here's my business card. What's your line address or whatever? They like to set up relationships that way. They go to social events like parties or meetings, and they like those group discussions with lots of people.
Yes, and it says because they feel comfortable in social settings, extroverts tend to be expressive and talkative, often sharing their thoughts and ideas without hesitation. And they didn't just say like they're sharing their thoughts and ideas. They added this part about without hesitation. And hesitation is the noun form of the verb hesitate. And if you are hesitating, you're kind of taking a pause before doing something, or maybe you're not quite so sure about it. So you're going to just wait a second and then do whatever that thing might be. You might be nervous, you might be scared, or you might just want to take a minute to think about it. And so again, in our first part, we talked about how Introverts like to have the time to process and think and then share their ideas. And here we see the opposite, where we've got these extroverts who are just chatting and chatting and chatting, and they want to tell you their ideas and they want to tell you everything, and they can't even, I'm sure everybody's met somebody like this who almost can't even get the words out fast enough. They just want to tell you so much about what happened recently and their thoughts and their ideas. So they don't do that with any kind of hesitation. They just say it all, and they've got lots of ideas going at one time.
Yep, there's no restraint. They just talk and talk and talk. They have no hesitation. They just let it all out. They just don't stop. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Let's continue to talk about extroverts in the second part of our lesson.
In work environments, extroverts thrive when working in teams that demand collaboration and quick decision-making. They're often seen as natural leaders because of their confidence and ability to communicate effectively. However, extroverts may struggle with tasks that call for deep focus or extended time spent alone.
第二部分看到名词 confidence 表示信心、自信、信任。例如 Annie didn't have the confidence to sing in front of her class. Annie 没有信心在全班面前唱歌。
Okay, we're back, and it says, in work environments, extroverts thrive when working in teams that demand collaboration and quick decision-making. So extroverts really are looking for jobs that have teams, and then you're always working with other people, so you're demanding collaboration. If you demand something, you are saying, I want to have that thing, I need to have that thing. It's more than asking, stronger than asking. It requires that thing. So when we're talking about in a work setting, a team that demands collaboration is not necessarily the team saying, we want collaboration. It's just saying something that is required to be a part of this team. You must be able to work in a collaborative environment, and you also must be able to make quick decisions.
Right, that's quick decision making, being able to make some conclusions right away instead of thinking about something for a long time. To an extrovert, that is a waste of time. Why are you sitting there thinking about this so long? We need you to make a decision right away. We need your ideas right away instead of thinking about things so deeply. And again, we're talking about extroverts. They're often seen as natural leaders because of their confidence and ability to communicate effectively. So yes, indeed, if you are an extrovert, you probably have a lot of confidence. Confidence means you believe in yourself. You don't doubt yourself at all. So they are seen as having a lot of confidence. And they're also really good at communicating. They can express their ideas and they can hear the ideas of others pretty quickly.
Yes, and then they, of course, will have some things that they struggle with as well, and that's what we see in the next part. It says, however, extroverts may struggle with tasks that call for deep focus or extended time spent alone. So if they're at work and they're collaborating and everything's going great, but then all of a sudden they have a task that they need to just sit and be by themselves and really focus on it, that could be kind of tricky for extroverts because that's just not what they really enjoy.
Right, so maybe the boss requires them to write a report or something, maybe a 20-page report or something like that, and then they'll have to work at their computer for a long period of time. And they may struggle with that because they have to spend time alone for a long period of time, and of course they need to focus on that essay or that report. That's something that an introvert would probably have no problem with, but extroverts, they probably just can't spend so much time alone. I need to be around people, I need to talk to people, I need to gossip about things. So yes, this might be a problem for them. Okay, let's move on now to the third and final part. We will listen to it first.
One common stereotype about extroverts is that they're always outgoing and loud. In reality, though, extroverts are able to have quiet moments, be thoughtful, and enjoy meaningful one-on-one conversations. Furthermore, their sociability doesn't mean that social activities never tire them out. It simply means they have a higher capacity for social engagement. They can still feel drained by social interactions, especially those that don't line up with their values or preferences. Extroverts make excellent mediators and public speakers because they're able to connect with a wide range of people. Challenges for extroverts include practicing patience when working with more reserved individuals and learning to better appreciate moments of quiet reflection.
第三部分看到形容词 outgoing， 它的意思是开朗的、外向的。例如 As an outgoing person, Jim enjoys public speaking and networking. 身为开朗的人 Jim 喜欢公众演讲与建立人际关系。也可以说 Sarah's outgoing personality made everyone enjoy being around her. Sarah 外向的性格让每个人都喜欢和她在一起。接着介绍形容词 thoughtful， 表示考虑周到的、深思熟虑的、体贴的。可以说 My son is a very thoughtful young man. 我儿子是个考虑周到的年轻人。又或者说 Kim looked thoughtful as she concentrated on how to improve her essay. Kim 看起来若有所思，因为她专心在想如何改善她的论文。继续看到副词 furthermore， 它的意思是此外而且。例如 Debbie is an excellent worker. Furthermore, she's a great mom. Debbie 是名优秀的员工，此外她还是个好妈妈。再看一个例子 Ted is often late to class. Furthermore, he never completes his homework. Ted 上课经常迟到，此外他从没把功课写完。再来我们看到名词 capacity， 指的是能力、才能。举例来说 Marcus assured us that he has the capacity to complete this tough assignment. Marcus 向我们保证他具备完成这个艰难任务的能力。又或者说 Earning a higher degree can increase your capacity to make money. 取得较高的学位可以提升你赚钱的能力。最后看到名词 mediator， 表示调解人、调停者。可以说 My father has always been the mediator in our family, settling arguments in a peaceful way. 我爸爸一直是我们家中的调解人，他以和平的方式解决争论。最后一个例子 I will only talk to you about this if you find a mediator because I'm not interested in another argument. 我只会在你找到调解人时和你谈论这个，因为我不想引发其他争执。
All right, we are back, and it says one common stereotype about extroverts is that they're always outgoing and loud. Again, we looked at the stereotypes of the introverts. Now we're looking at the stereotypes of the extroverts. It's that they're always outgoing. If you are outgoing, it is the same basic idea as saying an extrovert. You're outgoing, you like to be around other people, you're not shy, it is the opposite of shy. You find it easy to talk to people, easy to be in social settings, you're not nervous. And so one common stereotype is that extroverts are always outgoing and also loud.
Right. So, of course, lots of people think that extroverts are just talking and talking, and they just never let people get a word in edgewise. They just dominate conversations. Again, that is a stereotype that they are loud and outgoing. In reality, though, extroverts are able to have quiet moments, be thoughtful, and enjoy meaningful one-on-one conversations. So they know about these certain things. They just probably don't like to do it too often, but they are able to do these things. They can have those quiet moments when they stop talking and think about things. They can also be thoughtful. Again, to be thoughtful just means to be thinking about things. It could also be to be considerate to somebody, like if you give somebody a gift that they really like. Oh, how thoughtful of you. That's very nice of you to think about that. You know that I really like that type of candy or something, and you gave that to me. That's very thoughtful of you. That's very considerate. But here, thoughtful just means that they can think about things deeply. They're not just rattling off in conversations with people. And yes, they can have those meaningful one-on-one conversations. They're not uncomfortable with talking to one person only.
And continuing on, it says, furthermore, their sociability doesn't mean that social activities never tire them out. It simply means they have a higher capacity for social engagement. And so this is basically the idea that it doesn't mean that they are constantly okay with being social. They also need some time away from all of that as well. And so we had some words in here. The first is furthermore, and furthermore is what we use to add more information to what you were just talking about. So to go into that thought deeper, we can add this transition word furthermore. So continuing on from what we were just talking about, let me now add some more information. Then we also had this sociability. This is again a word that's coming from the base word of social. So their ability to be social and how good they are at being in social situations and their ability with that doesn't mean that social activities never tire them out. It makes you tired or wears you down or kind of drains your energy.
Like especially if you're the leader of a team or something and you have to talk to lots and lots of people and you're very outgoing, but you will get tired after a while of talking to all those people. It just means that you have a higher capacity for social engagement. Capacity just means the ability to do something, how much of something you can take or how much of something you can endure. So yes, they can be social, but only to a point. Okay, at some point they do need to kind of relax and not talk so much and have time to themselves.
Yes, and so now if we continue on, it says they can still feel drained by social interactions, especially those that don't line up with their values or preferences. I think that's a very important thing to kind of pay attention to. They like to be social, but a lot of extroverts like to be social in situations that line up with their values or preferences. That basically means where they're talking about things that they enjoy or that they believe in. But if they're forced into a social setting that is talking about things that they might not necessarily care about, then of course that can be draining.
Yeah, it could be like a social situation in which they're talking politics. Maybe everybody else likes politician A, but you like politician B, and they just keep talking about how great this person is. And you're thinking, I don't agree. This is exhausting to me. I'd rather talk about this with people who more agree with me in these political terms. But again, we're talking about things that line up with your values, that match your values. It's easier to talk to such people. You can relate to them better. And again, if you're talking to someone you can't really relate to, well, that can be quite exhausting. Now, here in the final paragraph, it says, extroverts make excellent mediators and public speakers because they're able to connect with a wide range of people. So these are some advantages to being an extrovert. You are a good mediator. A mediator is somebody who kind of acts as a go-between. Like in the Middle East, of course, we got the Palestinians and the Israelis at each other's throats. Maybe sometimes somebody needs to step in and help them work things out since they can't do it themselves. That person in the middle is a mediator.
So we see challenges for extroverts include practicing patience when working with more reserved individuals and learning to better appreciate moments of quiet reflection. So again, they've got all these things that they're very good at. They're very good at kind of connecting with people on a wide range and helping two sides to see each other as far as being a mediator, but they might struggle with being kind of patient with people who are not so extroverted or people who might need a little more time to think of their answers. And so they kind of remember. And so that's a good thing about understanding personality types, is just to kind of better understand that person is an introvert, so I need to talk with them and approach them in this way, and this person is an extrovert, so I can talk with them and approach with them in this other way. And so understanding how people kind of react and respond to social situations can be very important.
Yep, I suppose it is easy for extroverts to think that most people are extroverts and introverts need to change. They need to be more extroverted or whatever, but they're not going to. That's their personality. So an extrovert needs to realize that, hey, those reserved people, those shy people, those introverted people are actually very valuable. We just need to take the time to better understand them. And then, of course, we can also learn from them and actually have time to ourselves and have those moments of quiet reflection. And again, if you are an extrovert, you do like to socialize with other people, but yeah, you can't do that 24/7. You can't do that all the time. You do need to separate and enjoy time by yourself. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now to listen to Hanny, our beloved Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分第一句写到 In work environments, extroverts thrive when working in teams that demand collaboration and quick decision making. 在工作环境中，外向者在需要合作和快速决策的团队工作时表现亮眼。句子里面用到 when working， 它是由 when they are working 简化而来。那它直接在 when 后面接了现在分词 working， 这是属于分词构句的用法。那我们这边就来介绍 when 加分词 VING 或 PP 的用法。当 when 引导的副词子句，它的主词跟主要子句的主词相同的话，我们可以把 when 后方这个主词省略，把动词改成分词形式来形成分词构句，也就是 when 加上 VING 或 PP。当动词是主动，就用现在分词 VING， 被动就只要保留过去分词 PP。举例来说， My sister often tosses and turns when sleeping. 我姐姐睡觉时常常会翻来翻去。句子里面的 when sleeping 是由 when she sleeps 简化而来。再造一个例句， Ostriches don't hide their heads in the sand when threatened. 当鸵鸟受到威胁时，并不会把头藏在沙里。句子里面的 when threatened 它是由 when they are threatened 简化而来的。好，那补充一下，课文第3部分有一句写到 Challenges for extroverts include practicing patience when working with more reserved individuals. 那这边的 when working 也是一样的用法。好，那回到课文第2部分，它最后一句有提到，对于需要高度专注或长时间独立工作的任务时，外向者可能会感到吃力。文中是用 call for deep focus or extended time spent alone 来表达需要高度专注或长时间独立工作。那这边我们来整理片语动词 call for 的不同用法。第一个是课文用法来表达需要，意思就跟 require 差不多。那它的受词可以是人或是事物，例如 This job calls for computer skills. 这份工作需要电脑相关技能。再看个例句是 You got the job? That calls for a celebration. 哇，你得到那份工作啦，那这当然需要庆祝一下咯。好，那第2个用法是 call for 可以表达要求、公开呼吁。那常见的用法是 call for 加名词，或者是 call for somebody to 加原形动词。例如 Numerous celebrities have called for gun control. 许多名人公开呼吁枪支管制。那第3个我们可以用 call for somebody 来表达去某地接某人。例如 I'll call for you at 7 p.m. 我晚上7点去接你。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Hesitation. Courtney accepted the challenge without hesitation, determined to prove her skills and courage. Demand. This is a difficult situation that will demand quick thinking and a firm response. Confidence. Gaining experience in public speaking can help build a person's confidence. Outgoing. As a child, Corey was quite shy and often avoided social situations, but now he is much more outgoing. Thoughtful. Julia always takes a thoughtful approach when making an important decision. Furthermore, Todd has all the skills needed for the job. Furthermore, he has years of relevant experience. Capacity. My cousin has an amazing capacity for learning new languages quickly.
Discussion Starter starts now!
It's time now for our discussion starter, and the question is, do you consider yourself to be an introvert or an extrovert, and why?
Well, I consider myself to be a forced extrovert is what I would kind of consider myself as. And I would say since in a lot of social situations quite often where I need to kind of be chatting and interacting with a lot of people and I enjoy it and everything like that. But then afterwards, I feel like I need a day or two of kind of quiet time to recharge a little bit. So I would say I'm either a little bit of both or a forced extrovert.
Interesting way to interpret that, but seeing as I like to spend a lot of time by myself writing and drawing and things like that, I think that I'm more of an introvert, and I do like to have conversations with only 1 or 2 people. I just don't do well in big social settings. I get really quiet in situations like that. So yes, I would consider myself to be an introvert more than an extrovert. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Sam.
See you next time.